Hi, welcome. Tonight I'm going to talk about the Leo journey of courage. And this talk will be followed by a new moon group meditation and then a time for discussion and questions. So Leo, you might be feeling the Leo energy at the moment. We're in a potent time. The Leo keynote is I am that and that am I. And I'm going to expand through this talk so that you come to understand just what that keynote means. But I want to focus on a particular aspect of Leo tonight, and that's on the Leo journey of courage, which is really a voyage through the heart to full contact, sensitivity, and realization of the soul. And this is a journey we all take, not just those who have a strong Leo influence. And I believe that many are being asked to undertake an accelerated, take this journey at an accelerated rate at this present time. We're being asked to step into our courage, to release fear and stand in our power, not for our own personal desires, but to play our part to aid the higher spiritual aspirations of humanity and the planet. And this is really important at the moment because our collective energies, our collective vibrations determine in many ways the vibration of our planet. And it's really up to those who understand these things to keep their vibrational energies high and not drop down into those very dense, very low vibrations of fear, doubt, overwhelm, anxiety, pity, these type of lower emotions. And so really it's up to, it requires 15% of people to hold the energy for the other 85%. And this is why we need to understand this Leo journey of courage and be really honest with ourselves about whether we're stepping up to the mark in terms of this journey of courage. So we stand in a time of immense opportunity within the sign of Leo this month. And that's because this new moon falls exactly in the center of two Leo full moons, one at the start of the sign and one at the other end. And this forms a powerful triangle. And you'll know in esoteric understandings, triangles have potent energies and they're opportunities, they're gateways or portals. And this powerful triangle, and this is when the energies and influences of Leo are heightened, extremely potent at this new moon. So we're right on it now. In fact, the exact time of the Leo new moon was at 10 to 3 this afternoon today. So you'll be really feeling the power of that potency of Leo. So the most important thing to understand about Leo is that it involves the development of a sensitive response to surrounding impacts. And that's by one who already stands at the center of their own little universe. It is this sensitivity that characterizes Leo and presents us with the opportunity to develop a heightened awareness and understanding. So Leo is the only sign who has the sun as its orthodox, esoteric, and hierarchical ruler. So we see in Leo many of the qualities we associate with the sun in our solar system. The sun stands at the center of our solar system, wherein all planets revolve around it. It radiates its energy, giving light, life, and vitality. And we see these same qualities evolving in the person who is born in Leo, has Leo rising, or many planets in Leo. They're natural leaders. They're confident at the center of any group. As they develop, their strength of character attracts attention, and they're able to radiate both physical and spiritual forces. In its lower expression in Leo, we have the strong, fiery personality with a tendency towards pride and arrogance and an insensitivity to others. But in the more advanced Leo, there is a magnetism. There develops a magnetism that draws others into their sphere. And this is because they have undertaken this Leo journey of courage. And the lighted influence that comes from the illumination that they are in touch with from within. So like the lion, they become the king of kings. So just to note that Leo is very strongly associated and allows through the energy of Sirius, the planet and the star system, Sirius. And this is seen in esoteric terms as the higher self to our solar system. So it's a very spiritual sign with great potency. And that increasingly we are seeing more and more of this Sirian energy coming through into humanity to help and guide us. So in Leo, the development of this sensitivity follows a journey to contact the lion-hearted courage that is indicative of a personality in full soul contact. So I'm going to read that again because that's a key statement. So in Leo, the development of the sensitivity follows a journey to contact the lion-hearted courage that is indicative of a personality in full soul contact. So firstly, in Leo, there develops this Leo journey. The first development is a sensitivity to the conditioning impacts of their environment. So as the fifth ray of science and knowledge pours through Leo, they're often drawn to the science of the souls and the need to investigate and understand the nature of life. And this can lead to many lifetimes of investigation and study, esoteric, occult study, as well as the natural sciences. However, eventually there comes a realization that no amount of study is of further use, and experience must be the guide. There becomes a natural desire to lift the energies from the lower chakra attachments of the material world and to seek what is considered essential. And this, what we consider essential, seeking equates to an awakening, a realization that truth is seldom to be found in the external world. And we can see this gradual awakening at the moment in Leo as many start to realize that knowledge and science is not truth when it is in the hands of those who lack soul guidance and contact. It can be used for coercion and manipulation. This month alone, the imposed restrictions, loss of personal freedom, medical freedom of choice in particular, has created debate, divisions, and protests that are causing many to wake up and question whether they can trust the old institutions, leaders, and decision makers, and whether they were really operating for the greatest good or the greatest good of the many. There is much illumination and throwing light on truths about the way our world and our societies operate that's giving us great cause for concern, and rightly so. And I believe will spark a universal desire and call for change. So the essential qualities that we seek in Leo are those of the heart. So Leo is associated with the solar plexus chakra. And the solar plexus chakra is where we find the unrefined human emotions. We find fear, doubt, anger, jealousy, pity, cowardice, selfishness, conditional love, and all its manipulation and control. In Leo, we are called to lift these lower energies up into the heart center, where old sentiments, old emotional responses of the powerful personality, desire, nature are transmuted into the higher energies. And these higher energies of the heart equate to our Buddhic nature. And these are the qualities of unconditional love, forgiveness, acceptance, courage, compassion, gratitude, and selfless service to humanity. So as the self-centered Leo raises these forces into the purifying energies of the heart, the lion's roar of indignation, anger, and fear becomes the wise, compassionate leader, no longer self-serving, but dedicated to group service, aware there is no separativeness or conditions surrounding the true expressions of the heart. The Leo personality has become sensitive to the conditioning factor of the spiritual will, such that their desires become spiritual aspirations, and we witness the emergence of the integrated, self-aware man or woman. And this heart opening enables the inpouring of the quality of joy and the resounding experience of bliss that true soul contact brings. Joy is one of the highest vibrational energies, and it is indicative of soul contact. All feelings of separativeness disappear, and there opens a gateway through the heart to the higher self, and especially the possibility of contact with the Buddhic nature and its intuitive wisdom. So the highly intelligent Leo mind comes in contact with a wisdom not yet found through the mind, an intuitive wisdom that comes through the heart in contact with the soul. And this is a sensitivity to the soul as a conditioning factor in the person's life. The Leo, the lion, has woken up. So Leo is a mental sign, a sign of the mind, a fire sign, where intellect is often highly regarded and often highly developed and valued. In this journey to the heart, there is a realization of the value of the intuition when combined with the intellect. The contact with the bliss of the soul enables a complete reorganization and reorientation whereby the Leo personality is made new again, born again into the light of their soul. They blend the power of the Leo mind and the love of the lion heart. And this is part of the soul journey to courage, the journey of courage. I believe at this time, many people are going through such a process of reorientation. Recent events have caused them to look at their lives, their values, their behaviors, and the world around them, and choose to be made new again, to be born again in a new light of understanding. And the new moon is a perfect energy to support such a reorientation. And through this process, the person has now become sensitive to the conditioning factor of their soul and emerges as a soul-infused personality, no longer focused on being king of their own individual universe, but poised to do great work as a leader and serve the greater group. There is a gradual responsiveness from the world of smaller affairs to realizing the importance of higher values, ideas and ideals in the world of larger realities. I see it almost as we can be down here in the quagmire, immersed in the drama, but there's a lifting up, because when we lift up, we have a different perspective. And if we lift higher and higher and higher, we start to lift into life from a soul perspective. Eventually, there is no limit to the change in the way that we see things. The perspective changes. The personality desires become spiritual aspirations. The world, the material world, no longer has the same pull. And eventually these spiritual aspirations become spiritual will, purpose, and intention. And this transformation causes an increase in the vibrational energy of the whole being, an enabling of the spiritual light to illuminate and radiate out from the person, like the lion's mane, that radiating out of the soul-infused personality. And this in turn creates a great magnetism as others are drawn to this light of truth. And this all embracing fiery energy of love knows no fear and ignites courage, lion-hearted courage. Now, courage is an expression of love. One of the illusions of Leo, one of the things that we're seeing a lot of at the moment, one of the manifestations of the ego's response to fear is self-pity. Okay, and I want you to ask yourself whether you are allowing yourself to be drawn into this illusion of self-pity, and this is a fear that's created in the masses by the mass media. It's a response to the fear. Or do you have the courage to rise above all that is going on and stay centered in love, seeking ever higher understanding of the bigger picture? And this courage relates to love, because the more courage invoked, the greater the love for the community or the group. So this is how courage is an aspect of love, a heart quality. In this complete loss of the ego and individualism, there dawns the realization of the keynote of Leo. I am that, and that am I. And this is the understanding, the knowing that we are all one. So my little universe, the big universe, all multi-universes, there is no difference. And in this way, the Leo within all of us, the Leo that's abounding, the Leo energy that's abounding in the world at this moment, draws us into a true knowing that we are all in this together, and we can go down into our rabbit hole of self-pity and individual, that how this is affecting me, or we can lift up out of this, lift higher and higher, and look at the bigger picture and open the heart with compassion and courage for what's going on for all of humanity, for our planet, for our solar system, for our universe. We are in dire need of this type of lion-hearted leadership in the world today. This leadership of a strong mind, in touch with that lion-hearted courage, with direction and decisions and power coming through from soul contact, not with any ego desire for individual gain, manipulation, control, but for the greatest good of all. One such leader that we have known in the past, who I believe really had gone through this Leo journey of courage, was Nelson Mandela. And I believe those many years he spent in captivity, he walked the Leo journey of courage. And this is evidenced in his understanding of the nature of courage. And his quote, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." So the first ray of will and power is the other ray to pass through Leo, along with the fifth ray of science and knowledge. And when this first ray is invoked, this energy enables the development of a strong willpower. And this willpower, combined with the heart energy of love, is what enables and sustains courage. It's interesting that fear that resides in the solar plexus chakra diminishes the will. Okay, it's like the will is a fire energy. It comes from the solar plexus chakra in a more developed form. And when we allow the emotions, the fears and the doubts to swamp, it puts out the fire, and we lose our will, we lose our self-determination, and we become very vulnerable to coercion and manipulation by mass messages that really are fearful, that are bringing in the energy of fear into our being. So the evolved Leo, and the Leo in all of us, is instantly aware of his or her motivating impulses, and there develops a self-imposed self-discipline. And this comes from evoking this will, because courage involves will. It's a choice. And I want to now just explore the nature of courage, so we understand what this quality of courage is. So courage relates to love. Okay, love is always present when there is connection. Love is connection. And fear, in all its many forms and guises, is simply an absence of love and a feeling of disconnection. And this is why, as human beings, our greatest fear is to be disconnected from love, from our essence, from our soul, from God, from each other. It's a huge universal fear within us. When we die, the fear of death is the fear of being disconnected from life. So where love is present, there is always connection. Where fear is present, there is always a disconnection. So fear is contagious. You only have to be in a room of people who are fearful to feel it in your bones, in your energy field. You can be pulled into that fear by being pulled into conversations that focus on fear and doubt. By listening to messages of fear all day, every day, you will be pulled into this very dense, very low vibration of fear. And it's something you need to see. As soon as you see it happening, as soon as you start to feel the panic and the uncertainty and the overwhelm, and you notice the self-pity and the poor me and the happening, you need to pull out. You need to switch off the messages of fear, leave the room, to go out into nature. You need to connect again, connect with love. Because once you come back to connection, you will notice fear dissolves. And the reason is because love and fear cannot coexist. They cannot exist together. So you are either in fear or you're in love. You can't be in both camps at the same time. In any moment of any day, you are either in fear or you're in love. And we need to start to witness, to observe our state of being in this way. So fear is contagious, and those who are polarized in the chakras below the diaphragm are particularly vulnerable to fear. And this, unfortunately, is the vast majority of humanity, probably the 85%, although I believe that that is changing as people wake up as a result of what's going on in the world. More and more people are lifting up into the heart center all the time, are opening the heart, are understanding love. Our understanding of love just in the last 5-10 years has escalated. And this gives wonderful cause for hope and trust for our future. Fear has a very dense vibration, and we are always vulnerable to the effects of fear when we let our vibrational energies drop. And you might say, well, how do I know if I've let my vibrational energies drop? If you're not feeling the love, if you're not feeling the joy, if you're not able to come into forgiveness and compassion, if you're feeling overwhelmed, fear, doubt, if you're becoming very focused on me, these are all letting your vibrations drop. If you're not looking after your physical body, if you're not looking after your energies, if you're not connecting with nature and eating well and meditating and doing the things that nourish and lift your vibration. Whenever you do things that you love, it lifts your vibration. Okay, so just stroking animals lifts your vibration. Getting out in nature, doing anything that evokes and stimulates that joy in life. Coming into the present moment brings you into love, because fear only exists in the past, or the past projected into the future as anxiety and worry. And I'm seeing increasing numbers of people who are really suffering with anxiety and panic attacks and an overwhelm of fear. And if you teach people to be mindful and present and come into this moment, you'll notice that right in this moment, there's only love. There is only connection. Fear is in your mind. It doesn't actually exist. It's an illusion. But it's very difficult the way the world is at the moment to grasp the idea that fear is an illusion and that really the truth is love. Fear comes into our etheric body and concentrates in the solar plexus, the sacral and the base chakra, so in the lower vibrational chakras of our body. Love is an all-pervading energy, and it's a force, it's the major force residing in our solar system. It's literally all around us. Okay, love is in the air, it's all around us. These songs are very true. And it's always available when we open our heart to receive its energies. And this is a choice we make. It's directed by our will. So fear depletes our will, but not if we are able to detach from this effect and observe it. And this is where the power of meditation gives us that capacity to step back from the fearful thoughts, to have discretion and discern the truth when we're presented with something like, I'm not sure, to question, to go inward to seek answers, not seek them outward. There's little truth often in the world, or sometimes it's wrapped up. There's a small grain of truth wrapped around with much coercion and manipulation and false truth wrapped around that kernel. Because in observing fear, it is our higher self that sees the fear, because our higher self exists only in love. Our higher self is what brings the love through into our being. Hence the power of meditation to build this capacity and to build the discipline to detach from fear and doubt and see it for what it is. So what we really fear is fear itself. I'm going to say that again, because what we really fear most is fear itself. And when we see this, it no longer has any hold over us. So courage is simply the act of recognizing and acknowledging fear and deciding it's not going to rule or control your mind and choosing to lift up into love. That is what courage is. Like any capacity, it's something we can develop with practice. And life is giving you lots of opportunities each and every day to choose to step out of fear and step into courage and into love. The most courageous people in the world are those who have had much practice facing fear and returning to love. So you think of anybody that you hold up as a hero on this Leo journey of courage. And if you look at their life story in this life and in previous lives, you will find that they have had much practice of stepping into courage, of choosing courage. So we feel the fear, but we do what's right and good and true anyway. And remember, these are the qualities of our soul. Goodness, truth, and what's right are all qualities and knowings. They are indicative of soul contact. We feel the fear and we follow our own inner guidance as to what is right for us anyway. We have the courage to make decisions based on our own inner conviction, even if these are not popular, if we experience criticism or even physical or emotional abuse or loss of what is important to us. The greatest courage is to be your true self, to be true to yourself, to be authentic, to be open, and trust in life despite what is going on around you. To know that everything is playing out as it is meant to. And to choose your response to events that are going on around you, to act with integrity with your higher self. So courage is to dare to go beyond, to plunge into the dark ravine and look inward for guidance, wisdom, and the calm, clear strength we find when we make soul contact. It takes courage to reorientate yourself and choose to be made anew. The easy option is just to go with the flow and do what everybody else is doing and go with the masses. The sheep just go with the masses, and the goats have the courage to climb the mountain and choose the higher, the rocky path and find their own path, often to create the path. Courage is to go into the dark night of the soul, knowing that it's the only way to reach the light of understanding, that going through that dark night of the soul, there is light at the end, and that there is no other option. So the Leo journey of courage is really about a journey to an alignment with your soul through your heart, to choose love and freedom from the bondage of the material world, and to allow your human spirit to soar and your lion heart to roar. So I'm going to leave that there. I've given you plenty to think about, and hopefully a greater understanding of how important this Leo journey of courage is, not just for those who have planets or who have a lot of Leo energy, but for all of us. Because remember, Leo is the opposite sign to Aquarius. Okay, and whenever we are in a time where a particular energy is high, it invokes the energy of its opposite sign. And Aquarius is the age in which we're moving into now, this age of Aquarius, where there is an opportunity for mankind to transform, to be made anew, to move from self-centered existence to group consciousness, from self-consciousness to group consciousness. And so this is an opportunity for all of us. So now I'd like to work with this new moon energy and go into a group meditation. I'm just going to put that, I just want to go in, these words of Nelson Mandela about courage. I want to go into the meditation with these words in our heart. So I just want to revisit them. And if you read them, and as you read them, don't just read them with your mind and with your eyes. If I said read them with your heart, read them with your whole being. So he says, I learned that courage was not an absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So now I'd like to invite you to come into a group meditation in the energy of the new moon of Leo, this very potent energy of change. And we're going to come together as a group, both those who are here live and those who are joining us through the recording, by speaking the affirmation of love. And the affirmation of love opens your heart and opens that heart channel to your soul. So it opens the possibility of greater soul contact. And because we're working with this together as a group, it's almost like it opens a portal of this amazing love energy that resides throughout our solar system to come through this group and other groups. So this is a very important affirmation with a lot of power, especially when groups use it together. So from your heart, we just repeat this silently or out loud with me. In the center of all love, I stand. From that center, I, the soul, will outward move. From that center, I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. Now I invite you to just gently close your eyes. And I want to begin by grounding our energy in a connection with our planet, with her heart and soul. So I want you to imagine that you are sending a connection down into Mother Earth, either through your feet or through the base chakra at the very base of your spine. So use your mind and your intention to make that connection. And this is a connection of love. And now I want to bring your awareness into the present moment. So just become aware of your body sitting on the chair. Be aware of the clothes on your skin. Now take this awareness to your sense of hearing and simply allow the sounds in the room to come into your awareness. Now take this awareness to your breath and just begin to watch the breath, to see the breath as it comes into your body and to feel it as it leaves. Just keeping this gentle focus on the breath. Feel your body begin to relax. With each breath, take this breath a little deeper with each cycle and imagine that you are opening a channel through the very center of your body. So especially a space in and around the center of your chest, opening a space between the sternum, the breastbone, and the spine. And just allow the breath to go deeper until you are comfortable breathing from your belly. And just keep a gentle focus on the breath. And let it lead you gently inward. And as you focus on the breath, it will take you into a quiet place inside. And from this perspective, you can step back from the thoughts that run in your mind. Thoughts will still come into your mind and pass through. But through a focus on the breath, you are able to just step back from those thoughts and simply observe them. Continue to focus on the breath. Whenever your mind is distracted by a train of thought, sounds, physical feelings, as soon as you realize, just come back to the breath. And come back with an attitude of loving kindness. This keeps your heart open.
Now bring your awareness to the center of your chest. And imagine that your heart is filling with light and love. And the center is opening gently like a flower bud that opens into full bloom in response to the light of the sun. And as you allow this opening, so you connect to your higher self or your soul through your heart. And we open the lion heart. And now I want you to visualize pure white or violet purple or maybe gold light coming down through the crown of your head, down from your higher self, down through all the major energy centers or chakras in your body in association with your spine. Bringing these centers into perfect vibration, into alignment and interplay. Imagine that your heart acts as a vessel to receive and distribute this lighted love throughout your entire physical body. Cleansing, purifying, enlightening. This strengthens your physical body, strengthens your immune system, calms your emotions, brings clarity to your mind, and raises your vibrational energy. Let your entire physical being fill with this lighted love, and let it radiate out into the energy field or aura that surrounds your physical body in all directions. It is natural for this light of the soul to radiate. Allow this to happen. Now imagine that this lighted love is radiating out into your home, touching all living beings. Now allow it to flow out from your home, your family, into your street, your neighbors, your neighborhood, your community, touching the hearts and minds of all, whether consciously or unconsciously. Now continue to radiate this lighted love out to encompass your whole town or city. Now imagine that your light is joining with the light from all those who are joining us in this group meditation. And let's allow this light to fill our nation. Now let it continue to radiate out, to fill this part of the world. We can do this easily working together. Let it fill this hemisphere. Let it flow out to fill the southern hemisphere, until together we encompass the whole of the world. Now in your mind's eye, see our planet as if from space, and see this lighted love surrounding her like an aura. See it radiating out, pure and strong. See it flowing also down into our planet, healing her, restoring the balance in nature, so that our love can clean and purify the airs and the water, restore the ozone layer, restore our planet's health and vitality, lifting her vibration. See all the animal and plant life flourishing, and this light of love flowing into the hearts and minds of all of mankind. See it opening and waking people up. Know that we join with all groups who work in this way, who work with light, with love. And together these groups are working to change the way that we live and the way that we are. To bring peace and goodwill and right relations within individuals, to bring soul contact between individuals, to bring soul relationships within families, communities, and nations, and between nations, to evoke the soul of nations and the whole human family. Lifting our awareness and the collective consciousness of all, so that we can learn to live in peace and harmony. Allow your heart to be open. And in that opening, to open hearts throughout the world. Visualize these powerful energies unifying and eliminating all divisions within humanity, healing and transforming human consciousness, and establishing right human relations, evoking the call of this Leo journey of courage. Continue to hold a space in your heart for this energy of lighted love and let it radiate out. So that it draws like a magnet all those who seek like the sun radiates her light. Her physical light and her spiritual light throughout the solar system. Let our light radiate throughout our planet. And know that in lifting and opening our hearts, we call forth energies of higher beings to help us. Now I invite you to repeat the great invocation together, either silently or aloud. Repeat it with conviction, pausing between each stanza to imagine the words being played out. And to imagine this world prayer acting as a link between the inner spiritual realities and humanity, and as a channel through which divine love and light and purpose can flow into human consciousness. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Excuse me. And now slowly bring your energy back into your own energy field. And taking your time, come back into an awareness of your body, stretching and moving as you need to, and just opening your eyes when you are ready. Namaste. And this brings us to an opportunity now for questions, for discussion. If there's anything you'd like to add to what I've talked about today, any thoughts that came to you during the talk, anything you want to clarify, myself or someone else here will probably know some answers. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to unmute yourself if you want to. Or if you would prefer, you can pop questions in the chat. So just let me know if you would like to ask a question or make a comment. Tim,
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your latest very informative lecture. I mean, what I like is the way that you blend together all this business about the rays and the various aspects of the signs, and not the obvious stuff that we hear about all the time, but the more esoteric interpretations of this. What particularly struck me about today's talk was when you were talking about fear, because when I embarked on my own journey more than a quarter of a century ago, it was communicated to me in the words that fear cannot be justified under any circumstances. And obviously, at the time, that was a bit too profound for me to understand. But over the years, it is something that I've tried to avoid as much as possible. And what you say, one of the antidotes, one of the ways of achieving this is to stay independently minded and not be influenced by the media, by the herd, by, you know, everybody around you, and to stay focused on who you really are. And it strikes me that, you know, when you do listen to the media, of which I was a guilty participant for so many years, and therefore I hope I'm not going to be tried for war crimes or anything, but the media thrives on fear, and it also thrives on victims, and victims depend upon self-pity. And as you pointed out, self-pity is actually an act of self-hatred, an act of self-harm, isn't it?
Yes.
That was really all I wanted to say.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful, because self-pity, the best way to describe the difference, if I describe to you the difference between pity and compassion, you say, well, is there any difference? Pity is a solar plexus response, and compassion is a heart response. So to give you an example of lifting, if you're in self-pity, or if you are feeling pity for somebody else, if someone has fallen deep into a hole of fear and doubt, pity is like jumping into that hole with them. Okay, so if you are in a hole of fear and doubt, pity keeps you there. Okay, compassion, on the other hand, has a certain level of detachment. There's still the heartfelt desire to help, but you're not jumping in the hole with the other person or with yourself. You're lifting up, you're standing on the side, and you're lowering a ladder so that that person can pull themselves out. And when you do that for yourself, that is an act of love. So to wallow and stay down in the depths in the hole of self-pity is not healing, and it is not self-love. It's self-indulgent in a way. It's I understand, you know, we all get this. We all feel self-pity at times, especially if life has been particularly rough. But the key is to see it. I'm dropping into self-pity. Well, no, I'm going to use my will, I'm going to use my heart, and I'm going to lower myself a ladder, and I'm going to climb out of this, because I know it's not doing any good. It's not doing me any good, and it's not doing anybody else any good. And when we lower that ladder for ourselves, or we lower that ladder for somebody else, we teach courage, because it takes courage to climb up out of the ladder of self-pity into the heart, into the trust, into compassion, into feeling what's going on, but not being pulled into the drama. Okay, so pity, you're down in the quagmire. Like I said, you're down in the drama. When you lift up into compassion, and it takes courage to lift the energies from the solar plexus to the heart into that heart-centered love, you heal. Okay, you find hope, you connect and find the joy again. And many people do this. One of the ways to evoke courage a very practical way to help with courage is what people call a gratitude practice. And people think, oh, a gratitude practice, this is where every night before you go to sleep, I often, with my hands on my heart, Teresa, I'm really grateful for these things in my day. And I try and think of at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. And if it's been a really bad day, you're grateful the day's over and you've got another chance to do it differently tomorrow. Okay. But what gratitude does, whenever you lift into gratitude, you open the heart. So if I'm in self-pity, look around you and find something to be grateful for. And there is always something, because you can't wallow in self-pity and fear and doubt when you're feeling grateful. And gratitude opens the heart, and what follows, what floods in, is joy. And that is really, it takes courage to, whatever's going on, you realize you're in the dark night of the soul, you're in a dark tunnel. Really, if you want to turn the torch on, gratitude is like pushing the button. It's a very powerful practice that people think is just a sort of a nice, fluffy way to end your day. It's far more powerful than that. So that's something. It's you've recognized that you're wallowing in self-pity, that you've let the fear and doubt define you and overwhelm your energies and pull you down into that lower vibration. And you are choosing, you're using your mind and your will together to choose to look around and find something to be grateful for, and then build the domino effect. I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful. We've always got something. There are always blessings, even in the worst possible situation. And you look at some of our heroes, some of the heroes that we can look, Mother Teresa, fantastic. She is always finding something in the most dire situations. All her teachings were about lifting up into gratitude. And if you look at any of the heroes who have followed this Leo journey of courage, you will find that that's one of the things that they did. So thank you for that, Tim. I think anything that helps us to understand what's going on lifts us up into that higher perspective. Yeah, Bernie, go for it.
I won't keep you long because I know time's running out. I'm also, like Tim, very interested in fear. I mean, I was brought up a strict Catholic, so lots of organised religion is based on fear, which is why I rejected it. But also, I'm interested in the physiological effects of fear. And that's something, I get panic attacks and I get all sorts of physical symptoms of anxiety. I accept these now. It's just a fight or flight response. All these symptoms are caused by adrenaline, the effects of adrenaline on the heart and the body and everything else. So, and because I was brought up on fear, I suppose it's still there. It's still intrinsic to my body, even though I try and be positive and be myself as a gay man. I also fear rejection from people. I want to be included. I want to be belong. So sometimes I have to deny who I am because I've had terrible abuse from people when I tell them I'm gay. So there's all this, and also, I was going to say, I think I can have fear and also love. I don't think it's the entire opposite of love, because my partner's in hospital at the moment, and I'm fearful of what's going on, of his health and our future together and death, basically. But I can still love him and be compassionate. So is it a direct contradiction, a direct contrast to fear and love?
Okay, I'll pick up on a couple of those things, because there's some really valuable things in there. We can't miss them because they're too valuable. The first thing is, yes, fear has a physiological response, and it's a really good idea to become familiar with your own body's physiological response to fear, so that you see it and you recognize it and you go, this is just fear. Do you see what I mean? That's my mind detaching from being in the drama. So it's like, sweaty hands, racing heart, breathing up here. Okay, breathing, a panicky type of breathing, overwhelm in my mind. butterflies in your stomach, sweating, you know, all the effects, like you said, of the fight, flight, or for some people it's a freeze response. And just recognize that that is your body's survival mechanism. Now, it's not the best mechanism. It's okay if it is sparked occasionally when you have threat to your life. It's not the best if you're living with that response all the time, because if nothing else, it will lower your vibration, and it's the biggest factor in depressing our immune system. Doesn't matter what else you do, how many vitamins, what you eat, all of the positive, everything you can do for your immune system. If you're living in fear, it will deplete your natural immunity. And that is powerful.
COVID is a classic example of that, isn't it? Right, the fear of COVID actually depressing your immune system, so you're more likely to get the virus.
Totally. That's why the fear of the virus makes you more vulnerable to the virus. And this is the awful loop we're in. And it takes immense will and courage to step out of that dynamic, to say, no, I am not buying into that. I'm going to remain in love. I'm going to trust. Worse, you know, from a soul perspective, to lift up and realize, you know, we don't die. We are immortal. Yes, we can lose contact with the physical personality being that we know, but we never lose the connection with them. And that's a soul perspective. You know, it's almost, you get to a point where you realize that, well, dying's the worst thing that can happen. Oh, okay. We've died many, many times before. We're actually quite good at it.
Yeah.
We have also been born again many times, and we can keep doing that. And it loses its power when it becomes something every day, when you instead of running from it and dying, becoming the big black monster, you just embrace it as part of life. For your soul, it's a freedom. It's a freedom from the physical bonds of this body and this material earth. I have become very aware, for example, recently in a deep meditation, that many of the souls who have died from COVID are staying close to the earth, and they are pouring healing energies in to help us. They chose that path. Do you see how changing your perspective? Suddenly these poor people who have died, we have pity. No, suddenly we're like immensely grateful to them, because they have sacrificed their earthly life and their physicalness and their physical body, and they are staying close and helping the world through this crisis. They chose that path. What a wonderful act of service.
Yeah,
you see how that changes everything? That's just lifting up and seeing it from a different viewpoint, from a soul perspective. Now, in terms of what you can actually physically do in terms of panic, it's understanding the connection between the mind, because fear is generated. Fear is simply mind generated. It doesn't actually exist as anything tangible. It's actually an illusion. It's a powerful illusion of our mind. Is to realize that the mind and the breath are linked. So when you slow the breath down, you slow the thoughts down. When you take the breath deeper in your body, you create space between the thoughts. And into that space, the love can drop in. And that's the key. So what we do in the meditation, where I take your breath down into your diaphragm, you breathe, not into your chest, not up here. This is fearful breathing up here. You breathe down into your belly. So as you breathe in, you breathe into your hands. As you breathe out, your hands come back towards your spine, and you breathe down through that channel we open in the meditation. If you breathe in that way, the fear will dissolve, because this will bring you back to love. Breathe into your heart. It will bring you back to love. Now, the idea, the idea that fear and love can coexist, It's a difficult one. We experience that often, but what your experience really is feeling the fear and switching through courage into love. So it's like you're doing this. So those moments when you're fearful, you're in fear, but when you are switching into how you feel about your partner and your loss and concern for them, is you're switching into your heart and into love. So what I would say is just switch into that more. The best thing you can do for someone who is struggling with a health problem, who is struggling, is to send them love. The best thing you can do for someone who's in fear, if you have a rejection and abusive energy coming from someone towards you, the best thing you can do is send it love. Send love from your heart. When someone sends you fear and doubt, when someone attacks you, when someone is angry, send them love and watch the transformation. When you fear rejection, because remember, rejection is fearing an absence of love, an absence of connection, like you don't belong because you're too different. You don't belong as part of this family we call humanity. And as soon as you start to feel anything like that, send it love. And you will remember that you do belong, that everybody belongs in all our beautiful rainbow colors. We make humanity's family. So these are just ways to work with fear and love. And so every time you choose love, you choose gratitude, you choose to send love, you choose to, for your partner, remember how you feel about them, send them love and healing. Every time you're in fear, that's not going to help. That's really not going to help your vibration or their vibration. When you go into the room of a sick person, don't go in with a low vibration of fear. It's contagious. It won't help them heal. Go in with all the love you feel for that person. Turn your fear into love. Turn, the anxiety of a parent, turn it into the love for your child. And you will see transformation both in yourself, you will feel it, and you witness it in other people. Someone coming at you full of fear, because remember, anger and jealousy and abuse and all of these control and manipulation, these are all just manifestations of fear. Fear is the greatest karma of mankind. Fear is the thing that us on the planet at this time, it's our big one to conquer. There are other beings and other solar systems and other universes all watching this little experiment down on Earth to see if we can conquer fear. They're keeping us down the bottom of the universal the hold, so that we don't, it's contagious, so that we don't infect them with our fear. Fear is the one that we're here to conquer. And that's why this journey of Leo is a universal one. And we each make it in our own way. We each have our own particular fears. Recognize when you've gone into fear, own it. I've done it again. I've gone down into self-pity. I've gone into self-loathing. I've gone into fear and overwhelm. Own it, and then choose love. Choose to do whatever lifts you up into love, whatever lifts your vibration. It can, it can be letting yourself have a bar of chocolate because that's self-loving, or it can be going out and connecting with nature. It can be contacting a friend and saying, I need some help, and opening your heart to their love and concern. It can be whatever you need to do. Some people, it's playing the piano. Some people will put music on and it will shift them from fear to love. Some people just need light and sunshine to shift from fear to love. You will know what shifts you from fear to love. Just don't let yourself, stay down in the mire. Lift up. And when you do that, you're lifting, you're holding that energy that the 15% of those who are aware need to hold for the rest of humanity, to get the rest of humanity through this time, to open hearts. We need to hold our vibration high. That's our service. Okay, those who are further along the Leo journey to courage need to hold the energy for those who are following, and that's part of your service. And so, you know, like the parent who might be feeling fearful but doesn't let their children know they are, you know, fake it till you make it. It will come. It will come if you are operating from a place where you are aware of it. You are already detached from it. Okay, if you're seeing it, you're already detached from it.
Right, yeah.
You're halfway there.
That's very liberating and enlightening. Thank you, Teresa.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, thank you for bringing it up, because you know, if you've got these questions, it means lots of people do.
Lots. Yeah.
Has anybody else got anything to add? Any questions? It's been a really good session. Right, well, I would like to thank you, because it's in coming into the group energy that you bring it alive. And I thank you for a lovely meditation. The energy was particularly powerful. I don't know if other people felt that, but I surely did. And you know, we have a marvelous opportunity. Have a little bit of a think about how you're going to reorient yourself and let yourself be born again in that light of your soul. Okay, so namaste.